Hello and welcome to Drunk Talk. It is me, your regular host, Oisin. Wait a minute, no, that's not right. I'm not the regular host. I am the better brother, though, so I feel like this has been coming for a long time, and eventually, here I am, taking the rightful seat in front of the podcast. So, here we are. Right, I have the lads in front of me. How are you, lads?
Good now, how are you?
Good, yeah. So, we have not the usual crew, but minus one, which is why I'm hosting it. I guess you can guess which one is missing. So I'll just go from left to right as I see them. The Bull McCabe, you're there. What's the crack?
I am here. I am good. It's been a long time. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, it's been a long time for you. You missed last week, and
the
listeners won't know, but there was a gap between episode 19 or chapter 19 and chapter 20. But yes.
Yeah, a big long. I'm feeling a bit rusty.
A bit fragile maybe. I don't know. He's looking a bit.
Yeah, I'm afraid of the drink. Been enjoying myself on that time off too much. So lost all my good habits. Carried a lot of bad ones. Drinking is bad. It's good for podcasts. You got that whole team going on, but it can be bad for your life. Detrimental, actually.
What does a man who's afraid of the drink and on podcast tonight? So,
well, I was afraid of the drink last week. I thought I'd never get over it. I thought I'd quit, but then I was in a Sainsbury's, which is you can't get a Sainsbury's in the Republic of Ireland. I had to go up to Newry this week. I was like, sure, when in Rome or Newry, go to Sainsbury's, and picked up all the nice bits like the Sainsbury's crisps. Maybe they're not nice, but things you can't get down there. I got like white Twixes, like a Twix with white chocolate. Yeah. Nice.
I didn't realise you can't get them in the south. See, I live in the north, so I don't think.
See,
about
I was thinking like all this stuff that I'm just like blowing my money on. I was like, I probably can get this in Tesco up the road from my house if I looked hard enough. But I had nothing else to get. I wasn't going to be getting groceries or frozen goods in Sainsbury's. I had 2 hours to drive home, so I got all the good stuff. And up there was a few brew dogs, and they're like.
You are a whoever
Guinness
the
brew dogs. They're like stouts. Vanilla oatmeal milk stout, jet black heart. It's called Brewdog Nitro. It's purple drink.
Oatmeal stout? Did you say that?
Yeah. Well, it's whatever they make them with, isn't it? It's just kind of like you can get your sours, you can get your fruity IPAs. This is just must be a good pairing, I guess. And then I got a Brewdog double hazy, which is like 7%. So I'm just drinking 2 beers tonight. I'm still fragile.
All right. Well, that's nice. I enjoy them. Right. We'll move on to the next guest on tonight's fantastic podcast. Going to be the best one yet. The General, Owen Duffy. What's the crack?
I can't get used to that. No one in my life.
No, that's only Ross that says it. No one else
consistently.
Says it.
I've been called it once or twice when I was young. I think I explained it in the earlier ones, but he just kind of Ross just
he also never ever said it before this podcast.
No, just came out of nowhere, really.
I feel like it's a podcast thing now, though, that it'd be weird to just call you Owen or to call you Duffy. So I feel like it rolls off the tongue a bit nicer, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll take it. It's not the worst,
We'll Photoshop your head onto that orc general with the gammy hand.
Yeah. Please do that, class. Actually,
if you've got the Photoshop skills.
I'll try to draw. Yeah.
So, how are you this week, anyway, Owen?
Grand. Been back to work, so been busy. Working from home was quite nice, but just back to the grind now.
The world's opening up back to normal, and no one likes normal.
But the beers are extra sweet now, which is nice.
Oh, okay. So
I feel like I've deserved them.
What is it tonight? So what's the extra special treat?
It's not really extra special. It's just something that's just tasty to me. It's Birra Moretti. It's in the little Steve Weiser cans.
Oh, I love them little Steve Weiser cans.
Oh yeah, shucking them into you.
Fucking boo. No.
It's good stuff.
Boo.
Not a fan.
You just don't like lager, I think. You
Moretti. No, I thought that. And then I was like, I had about 17 pints of Heineken last week, so I definitely like lager.
I can't drink that much.
Just not Birra Moretti.
I thought you said you didn't like Peroni and that you like this one.
No, Moretti.
I
tried it. I bought like 6 cans of it like in the start of the podcast and just didn't enjoy it. just too used to me IPAs, me fancy shite. Like
you do like an IPA.
I think the P stands for pretentious.
I'll be honest. I'd never tried an IPA until about halfway through this podcast, and then I had one, and I got 2 mouthfuls in. And I was like, nope.
Yeah,
not for me. I tried it and I was like, Bull's always gonna have these yolks. They must be decent enough. But I suppose everyone's so different. But no, it's just too, I don't know what the word is. Yeasty? Is that what it is? I don't know.
Yeah. Hoppy, I think is the one. Yeah. Is it? But like I don't like Indian pale ales and all this kind of crack, but I just use the podcast as an excuse to try new beers every week. Yeah. I ran out pretty quickly. Like I'm recycling now. I'm going back.
No, this week I have a new drink I've never had before. This week it's not exactly. It's not something crazy now. I went down to Marks and Spencer's and I got Marks and Spencer's lager.
Class.
Belgian lager, hacked brewery. Just brewed.
But a Belgian lager is practically a craft joke.
Yeah, well, it's like nearly got the exact same packaging as Brewdog by the look of it. Just it's called lager instead. But it's grand, just fucking lager. I like it. Say lager one more time for the crack.
Lager, shouting, mega white thing. Yeah. Somebody should definitely make a lager called, mega white thing or something.
Oh, quick, cut that from the podcast. Keep that as your own fucking idea there.
Trademark.
What's the name of that band? I don't know. That's the Train Spotting song, isn't it?
Left Field? I think so.
Left Field, if you're out there, get in contact with us. We got some savage work to do. Alright, podcast. We're here to do a podcast about Lord of the Rings. So this week the chapter was chapter 21, I think, by my reckoning. The Great River. So I think Ross did the summary last week. Bull, you weren't here, so I'm going to let you do the summary this week. It should take you about 5 seconds because it's pretty straightforward.
They go down the river.
And that's it. Boat. There you go.
Yeah. Well done. Job done.
Basically, they have to get out before the rapids kill them.
The river.
That's basically it. They get out and they were being attacked by orcs near the end. And one of the boys shoots a thing. And that's
shoots a thing.
That's as vague as it gets. Yeah. They shoot a thing. It's too dark to know what the fuck it was.
Yeah, something, but it's definitely a thing.
Yeah,
yeah. No, pretty good summary. Like so.
Yeah,
you can do your timer.
Loads of time left there.
Yeah. No one did the finger thing, which I think really helped you. I think if we were all do, I can't do that when I'm looking at myself on camera.
You can't count.
Like, no, when I'm looking at myself in the camera, it's like confusing. I'm like, oh shit, which finger am I on?
Just don't look at the screen.
So they start anyway, and it's kind of just drifting down the river for a few days without much happening. Just describing scenery going by. And then it's like, okay, there's trees. There's some more trees. Oh, the trees go away. Oh, now there's rocks. All right, good lads, having fun.
No, it's a bit more. There's a bit more symbolism in it than that. And yes, you can definitely read through this as like a 14-year-old, I don't know, a 12-year-old, and go, what the fuck is this? It's just stupid scenery. But like, I think if you look at the symbolism in it, which I had to do because I'm doing a podcast about the book, it's like the passage of time, it's the passage of the group. The river's flowing one way, they're doing nothing really to paddle against it or with it. It's just like they're being taken on the journey regardless of whether they want to or not. They don't know what their decision is once they get off the river, whether they go to Minas Tirith or go to the Mordor section. I think east is Mordor and west is Minas Tirith.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You hear a great line from Boromir, and he's really, really pissy.
I've the whole chapter, that's like the overriding tone in the chapter.
Yeah.
Is Boromir given out again? Yes.
Yeah. He's like mumbling to himself in the sense that he's like, I'm going to Minas Tirith anyway, and we should all do that. And he really hated that Aragorn. It's just like, look, I'm going to think about this, and then we'll decide. Like he's always just put down. Nobody ever listens to him ever for any of the chapters.
Was it that he says like, I'm going to Minas Tirith, and if I've earned anyone's company to come along with me,
really like snidey.
God, stop being such a little bitch. Like,
yeah. And I've always said it, so like I'm glad it's finally come truth that, you know.
Oh no, but
he's a little bitch.
He's human, and I feel like the ring is having a very serious effect on him. Because so they're going down the river. Nothing's around them. No one lives beside the river because it's too open, and they're all afraid of it or something. Everyone who's in the boats, they're not talking to each other because they just feel uneasy or something. Like they feel no one's laughing, no one's joking. So it's a bit like, oh God, this is grim. And then Boromir, he paddled himself up real close to Frodo or something. It's like, what's going on? Oh no, he paddled up and it says close to Aragon, but Frodo's in the same boat. So it makes me feel like he's
finding a way in.
Like half contemplating like grabbing Frodo and then like just pulls out of it or something at the last second. We're like, oh, he wants that ring. He wants it bad.
100%. Like it says a few things about him. It said like he started to, I don't know who it was. Who was in his boat? Merry and Pippin?
Merry and Pippin are in with Boromir, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was like Merry noticed. He was like, first he started biting his fingernails and then started paddling close to Frodo's boat, and you could definitely see like I think it said as well he had like a wild look in his eye. But he's changing quick.
Yeah, he's lost the run of himself basically.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's the start of the chapter, and the next.
Any theories on that, by the way?
It's the ring, isn't it?
Can we jump into hot takes?
You jump wherever you want. You jump.
I have a hot take.
About
this early in the chapter, you have a hot take. I feel like not much has happened in the chapter, but if you've got a hot take about scenery, go for it.
So, my hot take is maybe Boromir, because I always called him a pissy little bitchy moany prick for every chapter he was ever in. He was always like, I'm not getting my own way, I don't agree with anything that's going on. He was always moany, right? He was always human, like you said. But ever since like he met Galadriel, you know, he's been fucked up in the head, hasn't he? Like that really messed him up. So maybe Galadriel turned him over the edge, not the ring. You know, because the ring was always there.
Galadriel reading his mind. You know, the way she went into everyone's mind and kind of had a little conversation with them personally.
Yeah.
Maybe whatever conversation she had was something like, you want to go home, do you? Imagine how much better you'd be with that ring. Oh my God. Imagine what you could do for Minister with that ring.
Why would she do that?
Oh, why not? Like, she's
testing everyone.
I feel like that's what he's thinking.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if someone stares at you long enough that if you don't say something, people will fill the gaps. So if you ask them, how you doing? And they answer you, fine. And then you don't say anything, you just keep looking at them.
Or you like extrapolate or something.
Yeah, you just keep going. They go, I suppose I'm not
that
fine.
Good.
And yeah, you know, they keep going, and if you just keep staying silent, you know, they'll keep fucking opening up to you. And maybe that's what he was doing in his own head with Galadriel. Galadriel said nothing, like, I know she can read his mind and talk to him in his mind, but imagine she just said nothing.
Well,
and he's just like, what are you looking at?
But he also knew she was there.
Well, she was like trying to convince Sam to go back to his own garden or something, and then he was like, no. So it's possible that she was trying to like do something with Boromir and test them, to an extent. You might be right. Do you think it's because he's getting closer to home? He's getting more fed up with the journey. He's like, I can jump ship. I'm really not that far from home. I can get away from this. Just go back to what I know. This is all a bit of a over my head, this kind of
he didn't sign up for it, did he? Like,
well, he went to Rivendell in the first place as a messenger. Like, was it?
He was talking about Faramir's dream, and like he wanted to get an understanding of it, and he did.
Yeah.
And like, if he's not getting the ring, like, what's the fucking point in hanging out with them other than to like, you know, give them a hand, which he really doesn't want to do. No. It's like such a waste. So yeah, that's why he keeps talking about going home. I'd say
I've been fighting against this Dark Lord my entire life. Like, it makes no odds to me.
Ain't no thing.
Yeah, basically.
You're ruining my chances of beating him.
Yeah. Do you think it's a bit of like a daddy complex too? Like we haven't heard much about Faramir yet, but we know from the films that there's quite, would you say a rivalry or like?
No.
Yeah, well,
I don't think so.
Fit in the films, but we haven't read on the book, so we don't know how it actually is. You know, the films portray Boromir as, you know, the golden child. Yeah, what if he's a golden child because because he like, I know he's a good warrior and stuff, but he licks his dad's arse and he does what he wants him to do. And what if the dad's like, we need the ring, Boromir, go get me the ring, and all he wants to do is make his dad proud, or, you know, that kind of shit. feed his dad's madness.
I think, yeah, when you see him in Rivendell versus the film, like he was talking about like Faramir's dream, and I actually forget the dream at this rate. It was about halflings, and it was about the ring, but I think in the films he's talking to Denethor. Denethor's like, there's talk of the ring existing and it's down here. You need to go find it and bring it back to us. That's your job. Whereas in this, he's like, oh, it's a dream. It's all higgledy-piggledy. It could be anything.
Yeah.
You know, I could be walking for nothing.
Yeah, I could have made that massive journey of fucking thousands of lands and miles of things.
But in the film, he's real sound to Faramir. Like, they're brothers. Like, he always tries to back him up and like say, Dad, stop being such a dick to Faramir. Like, but I don't know if the book's like that though.
In the movies, were they ever all three of them around together for long enough to show us that? I don't remember them.
No, sure.
Being in the same
I remember
room.
the extended versions. I only watched them recently. Boromir kind of backs up Faramir, and he's like, just give him a chance. He could do it. Faramir could go on the trip. And he's like, no,
what extended scene is that? Because, spoiler alert, Boromir is about to die in the next chapter, like, isn't he?
Oh, it happens like when they retake Osgiliath. The town.
Yeah.
It's like pre-scenes to Boromir leaving. It's like a flashback.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess. Okay, some interesting theories there. So next in the chapter, though, we're floating along the river and people are half daydreaming, half not paying attention, and Sam sees something and it catches his attention and he says it. Well, he sees something but he doesn't know what it is, and he says it later on that evening to Frodo. And I'm going to go on a little tangent here because it reminded me of something I read this week. So what Sam says to Frodo is like, I seen something funny earlier, and Frodo's like, that's strange, I haven't thought of anything funny since we left Lothlorien. I've been so depressed I haven't thought of anything funny. And he's like, no, not funny, ha ha, like funny strange.
funny how.
Yeah.
Funny how.
But that reminded me, you've probably seen in the news this week, your man Norm Macdonald, the SNL writer, died. And I see
Norm's dead.
I don't know if you're taking the piss or not.
No, I didn't know.
You didn't know your man Norm Macdonald died?
No, I saw his face. I didn't read any of the headlines. I just saw, there's that guy. I like his jokes.
Just broke some crucial news
Holy
to you
shit.
over the podcast.
He was young.
He died of cancer, yeah.
Fuck's sake.
But
fuck's sake, Norm.
Sorry, that's some podcast gold right there, lads. We caught Bull's interaction right in live. That's mad. That never happens. So I read one of his jokes earlier this week, and it's exactly like that, where it's like, death is a funny thing. Not funny ha-ha like a Woody Allen film. Funny like a Woody Allen marriage.
Class.
That's class. That's class. That made me laugh a lot. Yeah. And that's exactly what happens here, where Sam basically says, no, it's not funny ha-ha, it's funny strange, like I seen a log with eyes, what's going on?
It's like, queer, would you say?
Yeah,
queer, yeah.
So
I have a hot take.
Sam sees the log with eyes, and
I know where we're going with this, right? Where are we going with this? It's Gollum, right?
Well, they say it in about 4 more lines time, but it's
Gollum. It's alright.
Who's to say it's not a wee baby ent?
Lost.
Yeah, the baby ent with eyes. He's like, oh god, someone see me. And he dips the head.
And gone.
Dips the head.
You might be right. People haven't seen ents in thousands of years.
How did, if it was Gollum, like, how did he follow them for so long? And then, like, clearly the river is flowing faster than you could run beside it. So when he fucked off, and then I'm skipping ahead here, and the boys got attacked down by the rapids, we're guessing Gollum has told the guys that they're down there. Maybe he didn't, but I was thinking, how did Gollum run down, find some orcs, and then the orcs had time to ambush the boys, even after they were like saying, well, Gollum's following us, he's going to tell someone, so we need to start paddling during the night, and actually paddling and not fucking floating. All these things, right? It's not Gollum. Baby ent.
I would like to interject there with a theory to solve your 100 questions.
Nope. I won't have it.
Imagine Do you remember that level in Crash Bandicoot? You're underwater and you have that fucking like scuba jet thing, and you go. Vroom.
Yeah.
I imagine Gollum's feet are kind of like that. That he kind of has that power, just like, and he goes like super quick underwater.
Quiz off.
Took the log underwater.
He can whiz off super quick, and he gets down there just first. I don't know.
Nice.
Maybe something like that.
It is. I was actually thinking that this whole chapter is like a video game, because it's like Uncharted. You know those video games where it's like nothing happens, you're just jumping over things, jumping, platform, and then like all of a sudden cinematic trailer, fucking action, you're sliding, you're fucking shooting, bang, get the fuck out of here, run down this way, and that's like the end of the chapter. So it was very video game-esque to me.
Yeah, just enjoying the scenery. It's like, wow, look at these graphics. Wow, look how good these graphics are.
Yeah,
wow, look how good these graphics are.
Oh, the water looks real.
The eyes are bleeding here. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Uncharted's real like that. The graphics in them games are class. I really like the games.
I remember looking at PlayStation 2 games thinking they were class, compared to a PS1. So, I mean, it'll always... We're in a simulation now, like... Did you ever look at the ocean and go, that's not real?
That's not real. No.
Alright.
Sure, GTA can, like, simulate the ocean pretty well. How do you know you're not in a simulation?
You think you live in, like, some sort of Jim Carrey movie or something, do you?
Yeah. Damn right.
Maybe. So, basically, Frodo and Sam have a little conversation then and both agree, yeah, it's Gollum that's following us. And I think we both know the name, and it's Gollum. And it's like, all right, yeah, grand. So they agree to, when they go to sleep that night, they're like, all right, one of us better take watch, because I've heard bad things about him from Bilbo. Bilbo's had some bad stories.
I heard he eats babies.
I also heard he eats babies. That's strange, isn't it? It's not a normal thing to be at.
No.
You've got a 2-year-old, Buzz. You better be on the watch.
Yeah.
He looks pretty tasty, that 2-year-old. I can see where Gollum's coming from.
The Gollum from the movies, though, he doesn't... It's not...
Compare,
yeah.
He's much more pathetic.
Yeah.
He's not as...
vicious.
Evil and, vicious until...
just pure evil.
Later on. But right from the get-go here, you're like, that guy's insane.
Yeah.
Stay away from that mentor.
I got that from The Hobbit, though. Knowing the films, and I read The Hobbit then as a 16-year-old, I was like going through the words he says in The Hobbit, and he's freaky as fuck. I don't know what it is, but that whole chapter to me was just
the riddles
like,
in
when
the dark.
Bilbo meets him first, I was just like, this is a horror chapter. I was terrified of him. Like I wasn't reading what he says in the guise of what I've seen on film.
Yeah.
It was like something different. It was spooky. It wasn't a kid's book. He was an evil character, like.
So the first thing when Bilbo says, yeah, we'll do a fucking what's it, like a rhyming game, or what was it? Riddles. He was like, right, what's the forfeit? And Gollum's like, well, if you lose, I'll eat you. Just straight out, just if you lose, I'll eat
your
you.
go-to.
Imagine us playing a game of Swally, and it's like, right, if Oisin loses, what happens? Oh, we'll eat you.
That's tough luck. That's it.
Yeah, it's just
don't fuck about.
So
will you eat me though?
yeah.
Be tasty. I don't know.
So like in the movies, when we first meet Gollum, it's kind of like, he's pathetic. You nearly sympathise.
Yeah, he's a bit of a joke, like.
Yeah, but then like the first time you ever meet Gollum in The Hobbit, nearly one of the first things he says is, "I'll eat you if you lose."
Yeah. He is a crazy man. Oh, there's a can.
Oh, there's your fucking... What is it? Your oatmeal.
In his head.
This wasn't even fizzy.
That's a stout, isn't it?
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
There's one thing before we go on with a bit of Gollum. Sam says in between all that he feels like luggage, and Frodo's like, yes, Sam, but your luggage with eyes. Like the whole, I seen a log with eyes, and Frodo, just nice little...
I didn't notice that part. That's good.
Writing, just a bit of comedy between the two.
Yeah, nice.
When you're luggage with eyes, at least you can do something.
Yeah. That just like goes back to our trailer. Like, they're not even mates.
You just see them as an object.
Maybe they are. Maybe that's just a bit of banter.
I think they weren't at the start, because Frodo was bossing them about and stuff. But now it's like little things like that throughout the book.
They're getting closer and closer the more they go on.
It's more friendship and not you're my boss.
Like Legolas and Gimli have this budding friendship for whatever reason, and Merry and Pippin were obviously bestos before they went on this journey.
Besties, man. Fuck's sake.
Besties.
Either or.
Hey, friendo.
What's wrong?
Bezo.
Is there something wrong with saying that?
Bezo as well.
Have you ever said bestos before?
I don't know. I wouldn't think about it.
Besties.
Maybe
man.
hosting
Besties.
the podcast has gone to me head and I've lost run of myself.
No,
Like a
I
slap
believe
across the face
Oshin.
or something.
I believe Oshin because he's woke. Oshin's
He's
woke.
living in
so
the city. I'm in the fucking countryside. Out here on the sticks with the boys loud. So, he has his finger on the pulse.
Yeah. I'd be watching the world go by out my window here. Oh, yeah.
Bull's tending to his vegetable garden while Oshin's in the bustling city.
Tis a slow life, but I like it.
I can only dream of such luxuries of having a garden. There's one thing that happens here. Actually, no, before that, so they're having I think it's important to mention that Frodo draws Sting during the middle of the night because he sees Gollum again, and then Aragorn's like, "What the hell are you doing? Why'd you have that out?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, so you've realised Gollum's swallowing us. I've known the whole time.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling us, Aragorn. Like, Jesus Christ, why'd you keep that to yourself?"
Keeping them, relaxed, because it is, as soon as they find out, they're tense. Like, they knew he was following, but now it's confirmed. Like, 3 people have now seen him, sort of thing.
Yeah, but
and it's spooky enough. Like, it's part of, like, going back to the symbolism. Like, this whole chapter is real slow if you're just looking at, like, start to finish. Well, start to 75% of the way through the chapter. It's a lot of just floating about. But if you look at the symbolism, like, there's a lot of things you can't see, and a lot of it's menacing. And you're just being pushed towards it, and there's nothing you can do. Like, push towards it, and it's following you. Have you ever seen It Follows?
Oh,
It's basically like a movie about an STI.
Yeah, that's that thing
But
where
it's
like
fucking scary.
you have to
like,
ride someone, and then the thing will kill the person you ride, and then if you don't, it keeps coming back after you.
If it kills the person you ride, then it comes for you, and it goes to the person after that. It's basically an STI, but it's like it's scary as fuck. Like, that was a good movie. I really liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. Creepy
it's
though.
Spooky, like.
Yeah.
An invisible thing you can't see is
you
always
can't
following
stop.
you.
Yeah.
Only you can see it. Nobody else can.
And like, imagine you were a teenager and you'd seen it following you, but obviously you got your riding out your system, and you're like, grand, right? That thing's way down the line now. And then you're in your 80s or something, and you're like, oh shit, there he is again. Me riding days are behind me. Oh no!
You'd just be riding all the you could. You'd end up getting real STIs, trying to get rid of the spooky STI.
Yeah.
Or would you just accept your fate at that stage because you're so old? Like, oh fuck.
Yeah, because I'd have no Mickey left. I mean, what's the point in living?
Falling clean off you.
Right. The sequel. The sequel should be someone that rode it. Then what happens?
Like a fucking bronco or something.
Oh god, I was just going to say, like, a Mickey every episode. I mean, I wasn't here last week. I haven't been doing the pod for weeks now. But I'll get a Mickey raised in this pod every time. Every time.
Keep my eyes closed.
Pun intended.
I don't think it was intended, but it came out well. That's what she said.
I have that. That's in my notes. I'll get a Mickey raised. I'll show you after.
Nice.
You will not.
There's one thing.
I've seen enough Mickeys at that fucking bonfire.
I told Anne-Marie that. She was like, oh, you've seen Deggy's arse? I was like, Anne-Marie, I've seen Ashley every part of that man's body in the past week. Like, I've seen more of Deggy than I ever want to see.
More than once.
Yeah, we keeping this in the pod? Are we going to explain?
The tip must be scalded off him at this stage. Singed pubes and everything.
If he wasn't circumcised before, he probably is now.
I think this is actually a good time to bring this up. Basically, we used the Patreon money that we've accumulated over whatever amount of months.
So thank you to everyone.
So thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for donating.
Your 100 quid basically bought us 90 pints in a keg, and we stuck it into Deggy, special guest Deggy. We didn't stick it into him. Sorry, he has a shed, and we stuck it into his shed. And that man organised paintball guns and a bunch of pallets in his backfield, and we basically just had a wee. It was like an 18th birthday. It was just good, fucking solid,
honest
childish
fun.
crack.
Yeah.
So we were just drinking beer, shooting each other, and then we ordered steaks. Yeah. Like, I mean, the Patreon money didn't really cover even half the price of the keg, but you know, we really appreciate it. We got absolutely scaldy off it.
Yeah.
So, gosh,
but
definitely did your
that's the
jobs.
thing. Of the people that are listening, we don't like half of them half as much as we should like. I just wanted to throw that in there.
But we like the few of you who donate more than you deserve.
It was class, basically.
Yeah, it was really good, and we basically, it was the podcast group. It was only people who'd done the podcast. It was your favorite Newman, your favorite Deggy, your stalwarts.
4 people were on time.
Your
and
least favorite.
Deggy and Newman just kind of showed up at the end, as per
But
usual.
Deggy, it was Deggy's house, so Deggy was definitely there for the whole thing.
He wasn't.
Technically, he left halfway through, but that was only because he had
to get our food, which you know, it wasn't his fault. It took about an hour.
What he's joking.
Anyway, thanks patrons.
Any more of the patrons out there? We'd be happy to drink loads more kegs if you give it to us.
Yeah, 100% would do that. Actually, I won't do that. I'm going to get. I need to reevaluate my life, but some crack.
We do something.
Loads.
Do something.
Playing ping pong, watching Ireland.
Pay for rehab.
Yeah. The counselling sessions going on in a field.
Yeah.
We had a bonfire. The pallets that we like hid behind with paintball. We burned them at the end. Like
really,
Greta Thunberg.
That's not very woke. We understand that. So like what we did with the rest of our with the money that we saved from not buying the keg, we went and we paid for trees to be planted so that we could offset our carbon footprint from burning the bonfire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That happened. Brings us nicely back to the podcast.
Yeah, let's go back.
You know that whole connection between planting trees and what was this now? I didn't understand this at all. There was yellow and green lights in the sky. What do you reckon that was? I ain't got a clue what that was, but the major.
What?
Did it say that?
Went right over my head.
Oh,
I didn't
definitely
even
said
that.
Like I can't. They're like floating down the river, and then just over their heads in one corner or something, they see like green and yellow light in the sky, and I was like, "Is that foreshadowing?
Is that like the Aurora Borealis?"
Yeah, Aurora Borealis at this time of year.
This part of the Anduin happening right in your boat.
Yeah. Could I see? No. The definite pools of faint light, yellow and pale green, opened under the grey shores of cloud.
That's Aurora Borealis.
Yellow and pale green. I don't know, maybe. So if it's the Aurora Borealis, like that kind of.
But they're moving more south, though. Should that not be more northern?
Yeah, I mean, doesn't
Southern
make any
Lights.
sense.
If there's Northern Lights, is there Southern Lights? I don't know enough about
followers of this
atmospheric.
podcast. Please enlighten us. That's actually a good question for the old.
That definitely happened, and then something else happened.
A Uluvatar.
It was a little bit.
And something else happened straight after that. Then that I also didn't really understand. They see an eagle. And Aragorn specifically asked Legolas, "What is it? What does it mean?" Like, I don't get a clue. It's a bird flying around. Like, can birds not just fly around? Does everything have to mean something?
Yeah.
So clearly, it means something. Because Aragorn's like angsty about it, but I don't know what it is. A spy?
Do you think it's an eagle, like just a normal eagle, or the eagles?
The
like,
eagles.
Yeah,
Hotel California.
Yeah, the eagles. Follow this, lad. We go for a fucking tune.
I don't know.
But yeah,
do you mean the eagles that were like in
the kings?
Like the eagles.
Kings of animals, like are the eagles, aren't they? Like,
what if it was like the Nazgul, but it was just
it was just so far away. Like, these cows are small, the ones out there are far away. Type of eagle.
That's your second one tonight.
Could be. I mean, like one of these Nazgul on a fucking dragon, big winged creature just turns up, and the eagles don't live around there.
But I think surely you'd be able to distinguish between, especially with I presume Aragorn has good eyesight. Legolas definitely does.
Yeah.
You'd be able to say, look, that's an eagle, or what the fuck is that? Plus, they were like jet black, weren't they? So if they were flying up in the night sky, you probably won't see anything.
I thought the swans were black, but the eagle wasn't.
No, not the eagle. I'm not talking about the eagle. I'm talking about
the Nazgul
what you
dragon.
thought maybe with the eagle. What? Yeah. What do you mean?
What are the Nazgul dragons, by the way? What are they called?
I don't think
I always thought, as a kid watching the films, I thought the Nazgul was the dragon.
No, I don't think they're given a name, because the Nazgul are the men, or the half men, half ghost, half demon.
Exactly.
I don't think them things are given a name in these books. I've read them before, but I think I was about maybe 16 when I read them. That's 12 years ago. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure that they're not defined.
Sorry.
Keep it up.
Sure. Look, I like that there's no name to them. I'm going to call them winged snacks. Snacker.
Wing snacks.
Yeah, the wing snack.
That's a good name. Yeah, they do look like snacks with wings.
There's a snack
in the movie, anyway.
Yeah,
there's a snack in my boot.
Snack.
You wouldn't want one of them fellas in your boot. Jesus.
But yeah, I was hoping, because I think I mentioned at the start when we were talking about when they lose their horses or whatever, and the Black Riders come back with not horses but on winged creatures. Winged.
Yeah. Snake is massive.
But I was hoping, reading through this, I was like, when that part came up, I was like, it's happening, but there's no name. Like, I was hoping that they'd be like, and winged snacks.
The winged snack. Legolas,
winged
shoot down
snack.
that winged snack.
It was so dark they couldn't even see what he was or what it did. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did we jump on a lot there, or
it's mentioned, not too far though, because
I think we're
all that happened is so they're going down the river obviously this entire time, just fucking enjoying themselves, basically they're hating it. But they nearly go through the rapids and they have to pull a handbrake turn in the canoes or something, isn't it? It's something like that.
Yeah.
Shit! Pull off to the side, boys. We're gonna go over the rapids.
Everyone has to row.
And this is when the orcs attack.
We did miss one thing though. Sam's job before he got to the rapids was to sit at the top of the boat and bark if he's seen the rapids.
Yeah.
And he did it well. He did. He got there.
He with
good eyes, good ears.
Good eyes, good ears, good bark.
Maybe just heard
good
the rapids. He's a good dog.
Good dog.
So
Sam's a dog. Is there? Said it.
Yeah. The orcs attack, but they don't know they're there because it's dark or something. All of a sudden, arrows are just flying at them,
bouncing off Frodo. Frodo is impervious.
Frodo's like, what?
I'm impervious to bullets, mummy.
Yeah, tough luck, boys. Not getting me. Another one hits someone in the hat or something, does it?
No, it goes through Aragorn's hood, which is...
is that what it was?
That's a bit close for comfort.
Yeah. Would it pierce his skull? I don't know. Man's got a big head,
What I'd like to know is Gandalf still fighting the Balrog with an arrow hanging through his hat? Because one landed there.
Yeah. I guess.
Surely he lost his hat. Because it's a grey hat. Doesn't need it anymore.
Maybe he did. Don't call me Shirley.
Maybe he did. Or maybe he kept it so that I'm imagining Harry Potter, he pulls the sword of Gryffindor out the hat Gandalf is using his hat as a magic bag of tricks. For my next trick, he pulls out a handkerchief
full of one arrow.
Fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher.
He'd have no chance.
He would be.
He's fighting fire with fire there. It's not going to work. You need a bit of ice.
Yeah, he does. So they get away from the orcs attacking them with arrows on the side, and then this is when the flying schneck appears, or winged.
Winged schneck.
It doesn't say it, but just if you've seen the movies, you know that's what he's describing: a big black shadow, massive wings, dark as darkness, whatever. Yeah. And the great bow of Lorien sang. So I'm imagining Legolas pulling it out, and in the sword, just
Hey.
You know in the Sword of the Stone when he pulls the sword out and he starts going,
Yeah,
like that's what I'm imagining. So Legolas pulls this thing out and it's like,
It's shining. Nothing else is shining but the bow.
But the bow, it's physically singing like every
No.
time he's shot.
It's like he pulls it out and it's like you're one from the Cranberries and she's just like zombie, zombie. No, proper singing, like someone who just comes out and like
blaring a
it's your
tune.
man from fucking Il Divo or the guy from Britain's Got Talent, and it's like "Njamo no mo jamani na 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 mi na na."
Well, it's from Lorien, so it's probably
The fucking
Elvis
magic,
song.
like who's to say that fucking bow wasn't singing bit
But
of
did it
Spandau
say-
ballet?
Did it say the bow was singing, or did it say like the
The
arrow
big-
was singing?
No, it said the great bow of Lorien sang. So
Sang,
physically, the
Jesus.
bow is singing
Yeah.
something. I don't know what it's singing. A good tune, probably.
It's singing
100%.
gold. Always believe in yourself. Just has to whip it out.
Yeah.
I don't know what you like. You don't put a bow in a
Scabbard.
quiver, like scabbard. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So
Does he?
is it on his back?
Does he have a hook on his back to hang it off? Is it in a?
Is it like around him? So
bag?
he like just
Yeah.
puts
Is
it
it
like
resting over the shoulder?
I mean, most people who own like long bowmen would never tie the thing unless they're using it. So they'd have to take a bit of a few minutes to like tie the thing. You know, like because if you strain the string for too long, it's gonna break.
Never thought
So
that.
you literally you string the bow as you use it.
and then you take the string off when you're done.
Exactly.
So you're just carrying around a big like shtick.
Otherwise, your
Basically,
bow is
walking
just
stick.
like constantly twanged. I believe is the word.
twine.
Constantly twang.
You don't want to twanger your bow too long.
No, not too much. Like you directly.
Oh, you twang the shite out of
No
it.
one would want to play with you then.
No.
Did
Be
he?
all limp by the time you need to use it, you know?
Trying to hot dog down a hallway.
Did he? Did he take one shot? Was it one shot in the dark? That's all he needed.
That's what I imagine.
Yeah.
I think Gimli said, "Fucking hell of a shot in the dark." Or
Yeah.
Legolas.
How does Gimli even know he hit him?
Yeah. Well, he heard the squeals and all that kind of stuff, but even Legolas says the same thing. He's like, "Well, I don't know if I hit him."
What kind of noise does a winged schneck make? Does it like hiss? Does it squeal? I don't know. Like the film's obviously taking liberties.
I like the noises Peter Jackson made for the film, and they're always going to be in my head.
Screeches.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I pick Aragon from the cartoon always in that miniskirt.
Do you know
But I will always use the voices from the film.
the most the noise of the winged schneck that sticks with me the most from the movies is from Return of the King when they chop his head off and it goes wobbly, but you can hear the wobble. It's like, whoop, 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 and like this, as the neck is like flapping. It's like oh.
It's weird.
That
It's literally
noise just like sticks on my head for some reason. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Also,
Was it kind of like an F1 car going through a tunnel? Like,
yeah,
whoop, 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 whoop.
exactly. Okay,
Right,
here's
gotcha.
another noise that's very similar, and you'll know it as soon as I say it.
I think I know it before you're even going to say it, but go on ahead.
He just said that though.
No, write it down, Owen. Write it down on a piece of paper.
do a little podcast quiz.
Will I actually?
Yeah, sure.
Well,
why not? We got 10
Just be
seconds.
truthful. Be truthful.
Because otherwise, like, you're just gonna have two fun noises to talk about now.
Right, have it written down.
Okay. So the noise I'm thinking of is Anakin's pod racer in Star Wars. Is that what you
I
have?
got no.
But you know the one
I
I'm on about,
watched
though.
What did you do?
Botched, though. Do you know the one I'm on about?
The noise, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you know, he goes by, he goes. Yeah, it's
No,
class.
I went
It's one of my favorite
totally
noises
the
in all
other
cinema.
direction. Kind of similar to Game of Thrones. But yeah, you know when you're watching Game of Thrones and
Oh, he's
anytime the
choking on his own
dragon,
blood.
anytime the dragon comes in, you have that weird whoa, 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 whoa.
No, I don't know. I don't know what either of you are talking about.
What? Oh man, I thought
I know
my
pod
reference
racing. I
was
know the whoa, 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 but I don't remember that scene from the Return of the King.
You don't remember the Return of the King when he chops his head off? When,
Yeah, I just thought he was just kind of like.
yeah, but
it was,
it comes like,
like-
it makes like a noise. It makes a noise. But anyway, We should probably get back to the book, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
We're talking
get
about
back
weird
to it.
noises enough.
Do you reckon he made that noise across the river? Plus, he's winged. He's winged. Was he not winged for the whole thing and could see them on the river without having to be on the other side of the river and falling in the bushes?
Was he not above them though? Like,
Who are you talking about?
Like, where did the winged snake fall?
I don't know if he fell. He just flew away.
I
Killed them.
No, I thought they said they heard screeches behind the bushes or something.
Yeah, he fell down like.
Okay, so they're on one side of a river. Like there's
the boys on the
there's
east side.
orcs taking pot shots at them from far side of the river. The river's quite wide, so if this thing did fall, like yous are saying, I think it fell into the crowd of orcs who were taking the pot shots, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, what the hell's going on?" And obviously,
Fair enough.
boys in the boats are oblivious because it's pitch black and they can't see 200 yards away or more because the river's supposed to be real wide.
Why do you reckon Peter left this out? It's fairly, it's good action. Like,
I know
he didn't even like leave him till the end and like keep him in at like the Battle of Am and Hen, you know, end of the Fellowship movie.
Because in the film, this whole trip happens during the daylight, basically, doesn't it? Like the whole time they're going down the river, it's daytime in my memory. There's no nighttime where a lot of this is happening at nighttime, and like you don't really see. It's like a battle in the dark where you're like, oh, what's happening? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it does say though. Aragorn says sometimes that they only travelled in the night and then slept in the day.
That was halfway through it when they
at the start.
Gollum might fuck them up.
Yeah, and then they quickened the pace and they started just
Gollum.
travelling through the day, night, everything.
So they fecked off the river and they missed the rapids. They took their boats down to the next part, and that's when they met the big statues. Is it?
Yeah. So
Pretty
Sam is confused by how much time they spent in Lorien. He's like, wait a minute, that moon.
That's afterwards.
No, that's like the next thing that happens. Sam's like arguing about the moon, but like, is there a different moon down here? Because by my reckoning, we went into Lorien and there was a new moon, and now there's a new moon again, so that doesn't make sense. Or something like that. I can't remember exactly which phase the moon was in. Sorry. But it's something like that.
No, it's they're thereabouts.
And then it's like, Frodo's like, there's magic in Lorien. Sure, your one has an elven ring. And Aragorn's like,
shut the fuck.
what did you just say? Never mention that again.
Shut the fuck.
Let's not talk about that.
Shut the fuck.
Don't talk about rings. Jesus. Boromir probably sitting at the back there like, what?
She had a ring.
Another ring. What? Yeah, it was weird. Like, Frodo was being so blasé about the whole situation. It was, fucking magic rings. Who cares about them?
Do you reckon bit of Tolkien, he used to frequent the Gollum of the Connemara? So he had an Irish family, yeah. That he'd be over in Ireland, he'd be reading the Irish mythology, bit of fairy tales, bit of Tír na Nog. Tír na Nog means land of the young for the international listeners. Who went to Tír na Nog? Was it Cullen?
Oisín.
Hey!
That's your day, man. It's your
He was just waiting for you to get that wrong.
Of course Oisín's story. This is my story. No, yeah, it's Oisín, yeah.
So my memory says Oisín went there when he was like a baby, like 20 years old. He met this lovely fairy, and then he stayed there for like a week or a month, and a year. But when he came back, it was like 1,000 years had passed in Ireland, and he had no family left. And they were like, you can visit, but don't get off your horse. If you touch the ground, you're dead. And he ended up like seeing some weary traveller, and he's like, I'm going to help this lady. And they're like, don't do it. And he touched the ground, and he just like evaporated into dust. He aged 1,000 years in like a split second.
Yeah.
Tír na Nog, Lothlorien, same thing. Just like by a fact, like if Tír na Nog is like by a factor of 1,000, Lothlorien's like by a factor of 30 days.
Could be, yeah.
It's not years, it's days. You lose a week of your life. It's like going to Amsterdam and asking for the strongest stuff. On day one.
Fuck me up.
You've lost a month.
But they do talk about time in this. Like, I think Legolas starts talking about, the normal calendar or the weeks. Like, elves don't go by that because weeks to them is like hours. So it's like, nah, if we count weeks, we would go fucking mad.
Yeah.
So like they'd be counting 10 years.
It's also a cop-out though, because they say, oh, well, it's slow time, but it's also long time. It's like, it can be anything.
But he says that himself. He says it's nearly like it's hypocritical. It's like, it's got its pros and its cons. Fucking, do they remember? They remember everything, don't they? They don't forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, they remember everything.
Every bad shite you took. Every fucking hangover.
But an elf had to take a shite.
Every hangover. Every fucking...
They don't get hangovers.
It's not even like they remember it. They can relive it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God.
Imagine riding Galadriel, right? And
just relive that moment forever.
You have about 77 weeks where nothing happens because you're an elf and it's fuck all to do. But you rode Galadriel once.
You're just in that like 5-second orgasm for like weeks and
not?
weeks and weeks.
Why not?
Jeez.
I guess
his winged snake will be throbbing.
Winged snake.
Yeah.
So what else happens?
But that's like because Gimli basically says that in the previous chapters. Like, Ash, I don't remember like you do. You can you live in your memory. I don't. Like my memories fade, and elves have like a different style memory. Yeah, but what else happens? We're nearly at the end here. So after Aragorn tells Frodo to shut up, don't mention the fucking ring or I'll burst you. They're like shit in a brick because it's nighttime and they know that there's orcs about them. Like there's orcs who are trying to kill them somewhere close. No one's sleeping tonight, boys. We're all staying awake. Woohoo! Fucking party time! No, they're all like sitting around back to back, like shit in a brick.
Yeah.
And they're like just waiting for something bad to happen. But what actually happens is nothing. And they wake up and there's fog everywhere. And it's like, of course there is. So we can't see 50 yards away, even if we wanted to, even though it's bright. And again, this is where our old pal Boromir is just an unhappy chappy and arguing again with everyone about where we should be going. Because we probably should have mentioned the entire time during this, Aragorn is kind of quiet and to himself because the decision is on his shoulders now about which direction they should go. He never knew what Gandalf's plan was after Lothlorien, so he's absolutely winging it. Floating down the river delayed the decision.
Yep.
And now that they're nearly at Rauris, it's like, okay, I actually have to make a decision. So Boromir again is like putting in his 2 pence every time. Then like, Minas Tirith, let's all go to Minas Tirith. And everyone else is like, oh God, don't fucking look at that.
It's like from Planet of the Apes.
Not had a good idea yet, Boromir. You blew the horn in fucking Moria, you dumb shit.
Yeah, so it's so they have to pass these rapids then. This is the bit you were on about, Bull. And they're all
walking.
Yeah, so Aragorn and Legolas go ahead and are like, we'll find a safe way. And Boromir is left with the rest of them kind of sitting there. Must have been the most awkward time of the entire journey. It's all just sitting there like twiddling their thumbs and not looking at each other.
Yeah, like, oh God,
please come back. Boromir was complaining again here.
Wouldn't be like him
about carrying these boats, and he was like, we won't be able to do this. But it turns out the boats are super light because they're magic elvish boats. And this then
can't sink them.
Can't see them maybe because they're maybe made of elvish magic material.
They'd just be like water.
That just reminded me of like that thing. It's like, women, can't live with them. Can't find them sometimes.
Can't find them.
Do you think like if they are made of that material, does it just look like 3 lads sitting on the river because it's like blending in with the river, so floating down the river?
You're just so confused by what you're seeing. You don't know to shoot them.
Plus, they're wearing cloaks that have, they have a reflective ability. So, like, you probably only see like Frodo's head and Sam's head.
Yeah.
It's literally just heads floating down the river. No wonder the orcs were aiming at them. Like, these fucking floating heads.
What should I be shooting here? Oh God,
that's a fucking hot take.
More eyes, 6 eyes per boat.
Floating then. Yeah, it could be. That could be it. So then they get to Argonaut. Is that how? I don't know how you'd pronounce Argonaut. I think the Pillar of Kings. Yeah. 2 massive statues, which, if you've seen the movies, which everyone has, the big stone statues of ancient kings that are at like the start or the bottom, the top of Rauris. Is that what you'd say? Whatever you'd say.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And this is where Aragon gets wild excited. He's like, he just comes into his own.
Yeah.
Here when
it's like he becomes regal straight away. Bang!
Yeah, it's like boom! I'm back. I'm in my place. This is where I belong. I'm king. I'm badass. And like he just looks more badass or something as soon as he sees these things. Like, Aragon's looking fit and healthy and sexy, isn't he?
But I like the way he means to write that too, because it says like in Frodo's. I think he says whatever Frodo says, and then it's like Frodo looks at Aragorn and he's like, "Oh, Aragorn!" All of a sudden looks very, he looks like a king. What's going on? He just must have been standing with the chest out. And just proud to be home.
What's that thing? What is it? You blow in your thumb and put your chest out like, oh yes, this is me now, boys. I'm back.
Back, baby.
And that's kind of the end of the chapter then. So they kind of leave us on the knife edge, where it's all right. We've been going down the river 10 days. Now to decide, east or west.
I like the bit of symbolism again, where, like you said, Aragon's feeling very kingly. Mm-hmm. So he decides, I'm not fucking making any decisions till I step on that big fucking King's Hill. Amon-Hen.
Yeah.
In the films, Frodo takes off his ring. He's up there at Amon-Hen. He sees all the well, I'm skipping ahead here, but basically that's where this old castle used to be, where the kings of Gondor used to sit to look at everything.
Well, I have a quick question, right? The lads are on a boat for 10 days.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Which seems
they
fucking...
do get off, don't they? Who they get off every night? Cause
they get off every night, but imagine 15 hours. Like what I was going to say
one night they didn't get off. That last night when they're all staying awake, they huddle in the boats in a corner, like, or something. Don't they?
But like, of the 10 days, they probably spend about 4 or 5 days flat out traveling, maybe more. Mm-hmm. But like, I remember going from fucking Dublin to Holyhead on the old Stena line, and it'd be an hour long, and it'd be like, just get me off this thing quick. I'm done with it now.
Rocking motions.
Imagine.
No worse.
And even Sam said it. He was like, before he got on the boat, he's like, looking forward to this. He's like, this is awful. Worst thing ever.
He wasn't a fan of boats even then.
No. Any boat stories?
That's a good thing. Do I have any boat stories?
Like the only
the shit I'm used to, so I can never...
Well, we all went kayaking down the Boyne, which is something we should say. Like, as a podcasting team, most of us were there.
Yeah.
The 4 stalwarts.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. It's nice to go down a wee kayak.
I've been on how many? Probably Sten Line a couple of times.
That shitty thing back and forth to Holyhead, but I don't know if I've ever had any crack on that. Proper crack, and not just been hungover or...
going to a night game or something like that. I went on a sea fishing trip.
Did you?
On a boat. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like, but
off where?
It was off the coast of Cornwall. My sister lives there, so me and her husband went sea fishing. And yeah, like, you think when you jump on a boat, you're like, right, let's go fishing. And we drove for about 6 hours before we even fished. It was fucking awful. It was all like
freezing, I'd say.
Yeah.
What do you do for 6 hours when you're on a boat? Just
nothing. Like nothing. You look at the fucking... You do what Sam does and just look around you. And the thing about that is, them lads had
6
rocks
hours.
and... Them
lads
got
to fucking Canaries at that.
Yeah. Them lads had like rocks and trees and stuff to look at. All I had to look at was just sea.
How far do you have to go? Like, how big are the fish? Like, what are you getting by going 6 hours?
You're only on a small boat, like.
Yeah. The boat isn't fucking a motorboat that just whizzes over to Ireland in 10 minutes. Like, it just went out really far. Anyway.
You weren't rowing the thing, were you?
No. But the way out was fine. Did a bit of fishing, it was class. And the way back in, I got seasick. And it was Worst I've ever felt. Rot.
Apparently, yes, it was being seasick is supposed to be like that. That you just feel like absolute fucking pants, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, it's like with a hangover or feeling nauseous in your house, you can just lie down and it stops. You know, with seasickness, like you're sick and you still get moved about.
Yeah.
You're still on
you can't get home quick. Like
you go quickly, you're probably going to get worse.
And like the thing about seasickness is, it's like it's not. Maybe if you've ate a lot, you'll like evacuate your stomach, but for most of the time, I was just heaving, just
dry retching.
And nothing was coming up, and I was just like, like you ever see what's that show, An Idiot Abroad?
Yeah.
And Carl Pilkington got seasick, and it was the same with him. On the whole time, he was just like,
I know the feeling. I went to Ibiza with an ex of mine, and
oh, you did you?
When I went to Ibiza, right? And
does Rachel know?
Yeah. I decided, because I used to get my hair cut by this fella and in Navan, and he used to be like, I used to go to Ibiza and he used to have a great time. I was like, look, if I have to keep coming back and get my hair cut here, I'll have to go to Ibiza just to level with him. Like,
some sort of talk.
Just he sold it to me. He's like, go and have the crack.
Be young, carefree, and full of money.
Yeah. So I went, got smashed at the Bora Bora Club. You know, you get a nice bed in the beach, but you get your drinks that aren't atrociously expensive. Ibiza prices, because you're like sneaking it in from the supermarket. So I got smashed, and then got like 8 p.m. entry into like the local nightclub that's still daylight outside, but they let you in for free because it's so early, and like they're like, you can stay in this section, but when it comes to like the main event at 3 a.m, so 7 hours from now, you're like, then you get your money's worth. But I was like,
drunk and not remember a thing.
Ruined.
You'd nearly want to go
in
for a nap on the couch or something.
Yeah, I was in bits. Like, I don't remember. It was like flashbacks of seconds. Hours turned into seconds. It was like Lothlorien, like. And I was in different parts of the area I shouldn't have been. I was kicked out. I ended up stepping on glass at one stage, like it was a first aider attending me at one point, and I was still in for hours after and before. And then the next day I had to go on one of those boat cruises that I had signed up for.
Oh, like, you know, a beer like kind of party one.
Yeah. Dead.
Yeah, I can
dead.
Imagine.
Just it just curled over for like 4 hours until I could like come to, and then I just didn't enjoy any of it. Because it was just full of people who wanted to get smashed and were in great form, and I was just like, look, you don't know what I've been through.
You don't know what I've seen.
Yeah. Good times though, but yeah, seasickness not good. River sickness isn't a thing, because the river don't wave.
I've one river story. When I was in first year of secondary school, what age was I, 12, 13 maybe, we went on an international school trip to Germany.
International?
Yeah, so it's like the first time.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, first time you'd ever been on holidays away from your parents. So, oh man, it was a big deal. It was the best thing in the world, because you're away in Germany with all your best mates, and your mom and dad aren't there, you know. I'm only 12, so I'm like innocent as balls. I remember this, like, everything's hilarious and everything great, you know.
Yeah.
So we're getting this boat tour down the Rhine, like just on this massive barge traveling down a river, looking at trees and mountains pass by. Great, okay, fantastic. So there's only so much that you can enjoy, but every so often we're passing through like a little village or something, because there's villages every so often down the Rhine, and obviously Sean and Ross are with us, are with me, like, and the rest of like our group. There's maybe 30 people from our cairn on this trip, because they're all fucking us losers. I'm delighted. I specifically remember, I was like, one of my funniest memories of this trip is Ross shouting at this random German man as we're going by on this boat, "Ich mag dein Schnurrbart," which roughly translates to "I like your mustache." And the man was just so happy. He was like, ah!
How did Ross even know that?
I know, Ross is so good at languages.
We did German in school, like, I think that's why they brought us there.
Oh, of course, but
Oh, it was just so funny. It's just
No mustache.
it's just one of them memories, it sticks with you. It's like, that was so stupid but so hilarious. And 12-year-old me thought it was the best thing I'd ever heard.
Stuck with you.
Like I did French in school, and I don't know the French for mustache. So how the fuck does Ross know the German
And you
for mustache?
remembered it even.
Oh, I know. It's one of them things you'd have to remember. I don't know what nose is in German, but I know mustache is Schnurrbart.
Schnorbart.
Oh, God. Good times.
Are we done, lads? I think we sucked the fat off that chapter.
I think so.
Bits.
I think we'll just we'll do a little outro.
Yeah.
Outro, yeah. So thanks everyone for listening to this episode.
Yeah.
I know that this has been everyone's favorite episode to date, so rate us highly on whatever podcast medium you're listening to us on. Donate to the Patreon so we can have some more wild podcast parties, and Daggy can whip his lad out again. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
We'll have to get a picture of that for the fans.
Yeah, that'll be Patreon content if you subscribe to our Patreon.
If you subscribe, you can see Daggy's Sint Bollock. We know you're dying to see
That's
it.
a guarantee.
Thanks for listening.
It's not consented
so
to.
It's good luck from me and good luck from the lads.
Look now.
See you now. Bye.
Bye. Right. Thanks. Donate to the Patreon.
Don't donate, right? Donate if you really want it. Like, what we get out of this
But
is,
come on, donate.
Share it. Like, share it.
Give me.
Like,
Yeah.
we don't
Give me
really,
that.
like, we
Give me
got
that.
we got the guts of a half a
Come on,
keg
give me
out of your stuff. The first
Give me that.
patrons that came.
Open
What
your
we
wallet
need you to
and give me
do
that.
is we need you to share, because there's so many fans of Lord of the Rings
Share
who
is
just don't know about us, and we're class, clearly.
Yeah. The last hour has been testament
We
to
don't
that.
want like my mom being a patron.
There's only so much money Una can give us before we start feeling guilty about it. We haven't reached that point yet, but we're close to
I'm
it.
pretty sure one of the fucking members of the podcast is being a patron, which is just like he's getting taxed on that. He's
100%.
getting a fee taken
But, like-
off it. I mean, it's costing us money to fund our own pod. Clearly, what we need is shares. We want people to like us, not pay us. Because the more people that like us, the more you'll
We
share.
just want approval, basically.
Why won't you
Desperate
like
for your
us?
approval.
Just like us, will you?
Just like us, like and share.
Oh God, we've gone down a hole here, lads. Right, just
Yeah.
fucking end it.
Yeah,
Jesus
let's
Christ.
stop this now.
Right, okay, I'm
Anyway.
stopping. Good luck.
Bye. Bye now. Go on. Good luck. F- off.